Swadika, and thank you for joining us on Newsline for Friday, February the 21st of 2014. I'm Tratira Gosan. In today's top stories, 8 core leaders of the People's Army and Energy Reform Network have been released on 100,000 baht bail. And in our business news segment, the industry's sentiment index in January of 2014 has dropped to 86.9 due to the political standoff and an export slowdown. Taking a look now at today's headlines, the Election Commissioner EC has assessed that it might be unable to organize polls in March for 28 election districts with no candidates on the 2nd of February's general election. Election Commissioner Somchai C. Sutiyakon said the EC would send a letter to ask the government about an election royal decree after the latter did not clearly answer if it would issue the law. Mr. Somchai added that he believes the polls would not take place next month due to the political chaos. If they were disrupted and canceled, there might be an impact on the Senate elections on the 30th of March. The official also called for talks between political groups and expressed the EC's readiness to organize the polls for the 28 constituencies immediately after the political tensions calmed down. The Center for Maintaining Peace and Order, or CMPO, is set to appeal the civil court's verdict that invalidates orders taken against anti-government protesters. The court handed down a ruling that supports the government's invocation of the emergency decree but opposed harsh measures against demonstrators. The CMPO issued an official statement defending its operation to reclaim government offices. The statement said the CMPO is established under usual circumstances to restore peace and order in the country and has the authority to enforce rules in line with the decree. It elaborated that the CMPO has succeeded in retaking 53 agencies and arrested 35 suspects who were charged with insurrection and violating the decree. The statement concluded that the CMPO respectfully disagreed with the ruling that forbids the agency from carrying out necessary operations. The CMPO especially expresses doubt over the court's definition of peaceful protests, as the court sought to defend protesters' right to demonstrate peacefully. Meanwhile, Professor Ukrit Mongkonnawin, chairman of the Thailand's Independent National Rule of Law Commission, or NRLC, and former Senate and Parliament president, proposed that the charter court system be reformed. He prefers non-court members to be appointed to the tribunal as a way out of the political stalemate. 8 core leaders of the People's Army and Energy Reform Network have been released on 100,000 baht bail with a court order against further provocation of chaos in society. The criminal court gave approval to the temporary release of Dr. Ravi Mat Chaman Modon and Mr. Tosapon Gautima, along with 6 other core leaders of the People's Army and Energy Reform Network. The group previously laid siege to the Ministry of Energy and the PTT head office on Wipawadi Rangsit Road and was apprehended during a police operation on February 18th to reclaim the area. Despite the investigative officer's earlier objection to their release, the judges viewed that the protest leaders' wrongdoings were not severe. A bond worth 100,000 baht was put up for each of the detainees, while the court ordered that they must stop their activities to incite social unrest. If the condition is violated, their bail could be cancelled. Protesters of the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, moved from their rally site in Jangwatana area in a convoy of about 20 trucks and cars and 4 buses led by a 6-wheel lorry with amplifiers to Wipawadi Rangsit Road, where the Shinawat 3 building was located. The move is part of the PDRC's new campaign to boycott products and services made under the Shinawat family name. PDRC Secretary General Suthep Thaugsuban earlier announced on the rally stage that boycotting would be used to unseat the Yingluck administration. Mr. Suthep said the plan was first initiated by another PDRC core member, activist Monk Putta Isara, during the brief meeting on Wednesday. Mr. Suthep called on shareholders of Shinawat-owned and related companies to sell their shares. Notable Shinawatra-affiliated firms include Advanced Info Service and the real estate developer SC Asset. Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has rejected charges in connection with the government's rice pledging scheme, saying she is not personally involved with any rice sale irregularities. The Premier took to her Facebook page to insist that in addition to devising policies for the rice program, she had granted exclusive authority to officials working for the scheme. Ms. Yingluck has been accused of negligence in her duties as the chairwoman of the National Rice Policy Committee, which oversees the scheme. She has so far denied all accusations made by the National Anti-Corruption Commission, or NACC. She revealed that on February 11th, 2 documents were sent to the NACC explaining her case, but no reply has been received from the NACC. Following their decision to summon her to hear formal charges, the Premier questioned why the case was handled in such a hasty manner. Ms. Yingluck has called for more transparency and impartiality in the case, as she hopes to be given a fair hearing. The NACC has said that Ms. Yingluck would be asked to hear 2 charges by February 27th. The charges include abuse of power causing corruption, which could result in her impeachment, and malfeasance. Suvarnabhumi Airport authorities are making preparations to deal with farmers making their way to the airport to protest the government's delay in paying their money under the rice pledging program. Around 1,000 farm tractors are being brought to Bangkok from provinces in the lower northern region and upper central region by farmers who aim to demand the payment owed them. According to them, they will head towards Suvarnabhumi Airport and camp there until they receive their money, but have no plans to shut down the country's main airport. Leaders of the group said they realized closing down the airport would incur damage in many aspects, and they were traveling there to exert a symbol to pressure the government into paying them. Squadron leader Sitha Tiwari, chairman of the airports of Thailand, said the long-term parking field will be used to accommodate the protesters' vehicles and drinking water will be supplied to them. He said he would like to ask the rice growers not to shut down the airport, as doing so would damage the nation. Meanwhile, the airport has advised all passengers to carefully check their routes or find alternative means of transport in order to avoid missing flights. Passengers should also leave for the airport at least 3 to 4 hours prior to their scheduled flights. Alternative routes such as the airport rail link has also been suggested for passengers as to avoid being caught in traffic. For more information, please call AOT or Airports of Thailand at 1722 around the clock. Taking a look now at the ASEAN and Beyond segment. The Pollution Control Department, or PCD, under the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Environment, has launched a program to establish various vehicle checkpoints along Thailand's borders. The initiative is intended to enforce air and noise pollution limits for vehicles entering the country. The PCD's Director General Wichien Chungrungrun disclosed that monitoring stations had been established at Masai border checkpoint in Chiang Rai province and Aranyapratet border checkpoint in Sa Kaeo province to closely monitor air pollution levels of vehicles entering the country. Officials found that 14.6% of benzene engines in vehicles aged more than 10 years crossing from Cambodia at Aranyapratet border checkpoint had elevated carbon monoxide emissions, while 12% of them had higher hydrocarbon levels than standard limits. Information received from these checkpoints will be used in developing joint research projects with neighboring countries to plan measures and policies with the combined aim of preventing uncontrolled air and noise pollution. The project hopes to be ready for an increase in logistic and border crossing transportation between ASEAN countries when the ASEAN Economic Community begins in 2015. And that's the end of our first segment. We now take a short break. Coming up next, we have the Business News segment.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติและมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline, and time now for the business news segment. Deputy Agriculture and Cooperatives Minister Yanyong Pongrat revealed it is possible to establish a bank that would handle financial affairs of rice farmers, provided that there is no political interference. The establishment of a Thai Rice Farmers Bank was one of the 3 suggestions made at a meeting of the Thai Agriculturists Association, the Commerce Ministry, and the Thai Rice Mills Association in their move to aid farmers suffering from delayed payment under the government's rice pledging scheme. Another suggestion made by rice farmers involves a call for members of the public to transfer their savings from other banks to the Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives for use in supporting farmers. The third proposal is to initiate a Thai Rice Farmers Fund. The Deputy Agricultural and Cooperatives Minister said that the government would conduct a feasibility study on the proposed fund. He said one way to achieve the fund was to allocate premiums collected from rice mills upon their exporting rice. If the plan came to fruition, it would possibly compile more than 1 billion baht for the proposed fund, he stated. The labor union of the Government Savings Bank, or GSB, has demanded that the bank's management apologize to its customers and promise not to get involved in politics again. President of the GSB labor union, Likhit Klin Thanom, has submitted a letter to the board of directors demanding that it take responsibility for causing the biggest ruckus since the bank was established a century ago. The bank's management should also promise to stay away from politics in order to regain the confidence of its customers. The union did not call for the board members to step down, given their roles as vital for the GSB's ongoing survival and success. Mr. Likhit added that the labor union would closely monitor the board's activities, threatening that union members nationwide would call a strike should the board decide to meddle in politics. The industry sentiment index in January has dropped to 86.9 points due to the political standoff and an export slowdown. The Federation of Thai Industries, or FTI, has therefore suggested the government urgently resolve the political conflicts for better confidence in the industrial sector. FTI said the January 2014 index was the lowest in 55 months since June of 2009 and showed that the confidence of entrepreneurs was not at a good level. The index decreased compared to December of 2013 due to entrepreneurs' concerns over the political situation. Anti-government protesters surrounding many of the business districts and government buildings in Bangkok, as well as the invocation of the emergency decree. The political impasse has also affected domestic consumption, SMEs, and exporters who called on talks to end the crisis quickly. They also urged state-run financial institutions to provide soft loans and help fund trade fairs where their products would be sold. The Federation of Thai Industries Auto Industry Club has revealed that to the public that the domestic car sales in January hit a low not seen in 25 months. The club reported that car sales in the first month of the year amounted to nearly 70,000, down on the previous year by 45.5%. The country's total vehicle output dropped to 162,652, which was a 31.09% decrease compared to the same period of last year. The end of the first car buyer scheme contributed greatly to the diminished number. The figure also reflected the country's economic slowdown and less than robust domestic spending, affected by concerns over the prolonged political turmoil. The kingdom exported over 80,000 cars in January, which generated more than 37 billion baht. The numbers mark a slight drop from the year before. The body forecasts the total car output this year will stand at 2.4 million vehicles, with half of that amount earmarked to be sold within the country. Most Southeast Asian stocks ended weaker on Thursday after a survey on China's manufacturing sector heightened concerns about the world's second-largest economy, but better earnings and foreign buying helped Philippine shares buck the trend. Activity in China's factories shrank in February, hitting a 7-month low as employment fell at its fastest pace in 5 years, a preliminary private survey showed on Thursday. Thai shares lost 1.3% to their lowest close since February 11th, with shares in property developer SC Asset, in which Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawat's families own a large stake, fell 5% after protesters said they would target businesses linked to the family. Foreign investors sold a net $53.9 million worth of Thai shares on Thursday, extending the total foreign outflow to about $984 million in the last 19 straight sessions through Thursday. Malaysian stocks closed 0.1% down with a $32.81 million foreign outflow. Singapore ended 0.1% lower after having hit a 1-month high earlier on the city-state positive economic data, but was pulled down by disappointing Chinese factory data. Vietnam's benchmark VN index ended down 1.2%, bucking the trend. Philippine shares gained 0.9% to a near 3.5-month closing high, helped by $31.57 million in foreign inflows, which analysts attributed to better earnings being posted by companies. Indonesia also edged up 0.1% to a 5-month closing high, led by financials. And before we take a short break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติและมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. A number of provinces in Thailand have been hit by an early severe drought, which is causing trouble for several farming areas. Sukhothai province, which has been experiencing a decreasing amount of water in the Yom River, has declared 4 of its districts drought-hit zones. The dry season is also affecting off-season cultivation in downstream areas. In Mesa district, the water level in the Moi River has been dropping steadily, exposing sandbars at the bottom of the river, making goods delivery between Thailand and Myanmar difficult. In Ayutthaya province, authorities are speeding up distributing water for agricultural use as over 400 rai of rice farms are in desperate need of water. Meanwhile, Nakhon Ratchasima has ordered its local offices to set up relief centers in areas battered by dry weather conditions. Despite the drought, the provincial governor is confident that the province will be able to cope with this year's drought thanks to its excellent water management system. 2 arrests have been made in one day for the smuggling of protected rosewood in Bungkan province, during which over 200 Siamese rosewood timbers were confiscated. The first apprehension was made while the timber was being delivered at a spot near the Mekong River. When police flagged down a suspicious-looking truck for a quick inspection, the driver and a passenger right away jumped out of the truck and attempted to escape, but police managed to nab them before they got away. The truck was reportedly carrying 81 pieces of processed Siamese rosewood, which is protected by the Thai law. The 2 smugglers confessed that they had been paid 5,000 baht each to deliver the timber. Another arrest was made near the Mekong riverbank, where 196 pieces of rosewood lumber were seized before being smuggled out of the country. The wood was in a white van pulled over by Bungkan police, and the driver, a 30-year-old man, said he would be paid 8,000 baht upon delivery. All 3 perpetrators are now in custody waiting for trial. Police said the combined 277 pieces of rosewood lumber would have been worth up to 8 million baht in neighboring countries if they had gotten away. A One Tambon, One Product OTOP fair has already started in the southern province of Satun, with participation of OTOP producers nationwide. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Deputy Satun Governor Prayun Ratanaseni said the fair has become an annual event, and this year is the 3rd in its series. The fair, sponsored by the Southern Border Provinces Administrative Center, or SBPAC, is aimed at triggering local economy as well as providing another outlet for OTOP entrepreneurs to release their products. More than 120 exhibitors are participating in the fair, and visitors will find a wide range of high-quality products such as food and drinks, clothes, souvenirs, and herbal products. The fair is being organized in front of the Mongkon Ming Mueang Monastery in Mueang Satun district and will run until February the 23rd. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. We're going to say goodbye now with footage of a giant vine in the province of Ubon Ratchathani, which has become a popular sight. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm Thra Chirakosan. Swadee ka.